Okay, the first thing I do with 3 conduit pipes is I measure how much I want to take off, and I cut one and I use that to measure the other ones. I want to take off 2 feet, and a marker works a lot better than a pen or pencil. There we go. Alright, I use rubber gloves when I'm cutting conduit because you can hold it better. You can see my mark there. I want to put the roller blade on the mark and just barely tighten it to make a score. If I over tighten it, I could end up with a corkscrew type effect. Just to get it started here. There we go. Let's try that. A few turns. Well, let's try scoring still. A little bit tighter. And then what you do is you screw it in. Turn it a few times. If you've never cut pipe, get a nice line going, and then I screw it in and I turn it the other way. I don't know why, but it seems to work better. Go around a few times, give it another little twist. And that wheel tightens down on it and cuts through the conduit. You can use a hacksaw. I'm cutting these at 8 feet. They're 10-foot pieces, which is standard. 1-inch conduit, which is pretty strong. If you're making a something for game, I use the whole 10-foot piece to hold deer up, and put a little eye bolt in the top. There we go. It's that simple. And now I have this piece left over to use as a brace or different parts. So I'll cut all 3 pipes to this length, but I'll use this piece to measure instead of the tape measure, trying to get them as close as possible. Okay, the first step's done. I cut 2 feet off each of the 10-foot tripod poles. Now I have 3 2-foot pieces left for braces and the upper support. Feel even the uncut sides to make sure that nothing has burrs, and if you have them, just file them off. You mainly get burrs when you're drilling your holes. You'll end up with burrs. Cutting the pipe seems to be pretty good at not getting any burrs. This is a pipe bender, conduit bender. What you do is you put the conduit in this little hole, and for the 30-degree bend, I just get it up flush with this here, with the very end of this, and then I do my bending. Okay, I've braced one end up against the tree, and the other end I've put inside the bender. Let's see if I can do this and keep it centered on the camera. Screw in my pipe tight. Now I'm going to get this in there, and with my thumb just push it to the very end of the bender rather than measure it. They'll all come out the same, and that's the least amount of distance that I need to make a bend. You put your foot here and you just pull up on the pipe, bending it. I'm looking for the 30-degree mark, and I want to get it straight up and down with my eye above it. Just a hair more. Let's see here. There we go. And bend all 3 the same way. There, they're all bent. That took about 2 minutes. So here's how we drill it. We want them all to be in line with each other for the one bolt. The center leg is out that way, so the hole's coming, instead of through here to the inside of the bend, on the center one it's coming through the side. I hope you can see that. So here's the bend, and it goes through the side, and the end legs, it goes through the center. Not too hard. It's 1.5 inches down. 2 of them are drilled in the center end of the bend, the inside of the bend, and then the center leg right here gets drilled straight through. The first step is to mark 1.5 inches in on the inside of the bend. This is for the first outer leg, not the center leg. That's 1.5 inches, and I want to drill right in the center, not straight down, but I have to come at the angle of this bend. So I'll have to be drilling at this angle. First we have to take the punch, and we want to mark right in the center of that hole, or my mark, to drill through the center of the pipe. You don't want to be on the edge of the pipe. Now I'm 1.5 inches down, halfway before the bend, and I'm doing the end leg on the inside of the bend. So let's see if I can mark this. That should work. Get the bit lined up in there, and remember the angle has to be at this 30-degree angle. That's very important. Not straight up and down, and not too much angle or sideways. You want to go straight down and at that 30 degrees, and right towards the center. There we go. Now you'll definitely need your file to file off the little burrs. There we go. Now the center leg, unlike this end legs, they're drilled on the inside of the bend. This gets drilled on this side of the bend. You can just mark at 1.5 inches and lay the pipe, you know, sideways so you can drill straight through, versus this one which I had to hold up at an angle to drill that. So let's mark this and drill it. That's a good indent. So you want to make sure you're coming down the center of the pipe and you're not leaning in any direction, and drill all the way through. See if that worked. Yep, 2 holes on my tripod. At the right angle, and it'll open up nicely. Now the other leg we're going to do identical to this leg.